curious, welcome back to our podcast Tech
Talk.
What are we discussing today?
Today we're going to talk about a topic related to one area of educational technology, which is management. This topic is highly relevant to the world of education and libraries, especially in the midst of the rapid development of information technology.
Wow, sounds interesting, especially for those of you who love to read. Stay tuned until the end.
Yeah, but for this podcast, we have a special partner who will be joining us later.
Wow, that makes today's podcast discussion even more special.
That's right, Elsa. We all know that libraries are one of the most important learning resources for many people, especially for the academic community in educational institutions. But Elsa, have you ever wondered how do they manage all the books in the library? With thousands, maybe even millions of book titles available, how do librarians ensure that everything is neatly organized and easily accessible to visitors?
Exactly, that's what makes the library world so interesting. As far as I know, every book, article, and other learning resource has its own place that must be carefully chosen to provide maximum benefit to the visitor searching for information.
Yes, but managing such a vast collection of books is definitely not an easy task, right? Especially with the rapid development of technology and information, which adds new challenges for libraries in terms of how to adapt to these changes.
That's exactly what we'll be discussing in today's episode. How librarians manage such diverse collection of books, from the process of acquiring books, categorizing and organizing collection, maintaining collection, to strategies for adapting library management in the digital age. But to discuss this, we'll definitely need some help, right?
That's right, Kelsa. As we mentioned earlier, in this episode we'll be joined by our partner from the library field. This is to ensure that the information we provide is more interesting and credible, right?
Of course, to truly explore the behind-the-scenes process of providing millions of books in libraries, we need someone with real experience and expertise in the library world. So, without further ado, let's welcome Libby, our partner who will help gather more information about library management. Libby, welcome to Tech Talk.
Well, welcome aboard, Libby.
Hi, thank you for having me on your podcast.
Of course, Libby, and we're grateful you agreed to help us explore library management.
Yes, I'm actually excited to join in on this podcast discussion. It's so interesting to share and explore together how libraries operate, especially with two people who are also passionate about this topic. And, of course, the curious audience watching.
So, Libby, could you tell us a bit about how we're going to explore this information?
To gain a deeper understanding of library management, I'll take you all on a journey to hear directly from the library administrators.
Wow!
So, this means we'll be connecting with the library management team through Libby. How exciting, curious!
So, Libby, which library are we going to visit?
I'll be taking you to a library at one of the top universities in Bandung, known for its focus on education. I'm sure you all know it.
Let me guess, it's Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, right?
Yes, Elsa, it must be Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia.
Exactly, we're going to explore that one. So, are you ready to start?
Let's go. We leave it to you, Libby.
Before we connect with the library administrators, let's get to know the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Library, or more commonly known as UPI Library. Curious, as one of the most important academic libraries in Indonesia, this library plays a huge role in supporting academic activities at UPI. Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Library also has a long history tied to the vision of education in Indonesia. It was established on October 20th, 1954, under the Teacher Education College, in Hotel Homan on Asia Africa Street in Bandung. At that time, the location at the hotel wasn't ideal for academic activities, so it was moved to PPI, Lembang, with a room size of 75 square meters. Since the distance between the library and the Bumi Siliwangi campus was too far, the library was relocated to Villa Isola, with a space of 195 square meters. Back then, the library had around 25,000 book titles in its collection, In 1963, the library was moved to Building 2, the FPBS building, with a space of 480 square meters. In 1969, it was relocated again to the Garnati building, occupying an area of 750 square meters. As the number of students grew and the number of academic departments increased, the need for a more complete information resource and larger space became apparent. Therefore, a new library building with an area of 1,200 square meters was constructed. This building lasted from 1979 until 1994, when the decision was made to build a bigger and more complete building. Starting in April 1995, the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Library moved to a new building with an area of 12,000 square meters, spread across 4 floors. This new building was designed to accommodate a total collection of 1 million copies and serve up to 5,000 visitors daily. In 2007, Building IT.1 was used by the Directorate of STI, and in 2018, Building IT.4 was officially designated for the library again. The library provides excellent service with the motto, "Answer at its best to any quest," and supports the university's vision of being a leading and outstanding university. Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Library also serves as a benchmarking destination for similar libraries. Moreover, the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Library is an information laboratory for academic programs and researchers in general. The main vision of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Library is to become a center of excellence for information resources. There are a few things we'll be asking the library management team, starting from the book acquisition process, categorization and organization of collections, collection maintenance, refreshing the collection, strategies for adapting to the digital era.
Jadi prosedur pengadaannya, pertama kami melakukan survei, kedua menyebarkan form, ketiga data-data itu diolah di dalam format desiderata. Nah, desiderata itu sebagai gudang data usulan. Dari situlah nanti kami pengadaannya.
Koleksi.
Kita ada unit koordinasi pengembangan koleksi. Nah, itu ada. Itu ada koordinatornya, ada stafnya. Nah, itu yang secara teknis dilakukan oleh tim dari koordinator pengadaan koleksi. Nah, hanya kedua berkolaborasi. Gitu. Pertama dengan layanan yang pasti ya, terutama di layanan sirkulasi juga sama seperti itu. Nah, dari pengadaan itu akan juga nanti berimbas karena koordinasi dengan bidang divisi layanan akan berimbas ke pembentukan layanan. Kita punya aturan untuk pengadaan koleksi itu adalah terbitan 3 tahun terakhir. Nah, itu juga jadi kriteria. Karena saat pengajuan kita juga melihat mengajukan itu kan judul, pengarang, termasuk terbitan. Dan satu hal lagi ya, kita pastikan sekarang itu semua sudah mempunyai SBN deh, hati-hati nanti. Enggak, kita tidak langsung bekerja sama ya. Kenapa? Karena kalau kerjasama dengan pengadaan buku, kita khawatir, kita independen. Kita khawatir nanti kalau kerjasama, buku-buku beliau harus dibeli. Nanti seperti itu ya, ada kerjasama. Tapi kita berkolaborasi, kita mempunyai komunikasi dengan semua penerbit. Kita ada kerjasama dalam bidang promosi. Seperti contoh, kalau dilihat ke depan, ada rak itu promosi. Nah, kita membantu juga gitu, itu. Jadi kerjasamanya bukan bidang pengadaan gitu kan, tapi kerjasamanya dengan bidang promosi, dan kita juga infonya ke kita apa. Kalau mereka nyimpan di sana, ya minimal untuk mahasiswa UPI ada diskon kalau untuk membeli buku mereka. Keragaman itu kita melihat buku apa yang kira-kira akan dipakai semua. Pertama itu seperti metode penelitian ya, itu pasti dipakai oleh semua prodi.
So, that's how it is. Curious. Starting from the identification process, which begins by distributing surveys to gather a book procurement list based on needs, to the fact that UPI Library is not tied to any specific publisher. Still curious? Let's continue exploring.
Bukunya seperti apa gitu cara mengelompokannya, itu kita pemakainya diisi. Itu ada 10 kelompok udah otomatis ya. Jadi kalau misalkan buku datang itu asal masuknya ke kelompok mana bukan kita yang menentukan, tapi prosedur yang menentukan.
Wow, that's really interesting. It turns out there's a special system for organizing and classifying books. What was the name of that system? Curious? Hahaha, don't forget, the system is called Dewey Decimal Classification or DDC. Now, how does the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Library maintain and care for its collections?
Ada pencegahan, ada perawatannya. Jadi pencegahannya juga kita namanya masuk ke preservasi ya. Preservasi itu mencegah dan merawat. Dari mulai awal kita informasikan ke mahasiswa baru bagaimana merawat dan memperlakukan buku. Yang keduanya yang pasti kita kebersihan ya. Kebersihan itu pasti dirawat. Seperti itu. Kalau rusak ringan kita biasanya langsung diperbaiki. Nah, kalau rusak berat kita dikumpulkan, didata, kan biasanya kita ada pihak ketiga yang mengerjakannya, tidak oleh kita. Kenapa? Karena kita tidak punya alat misalnya untuk menjadi kembali gitu ya, rusak berat itu. Rutinnya seperti itu sih, tiap hari emang dikontrol, tapi biasanya 2 minggu sekali kita disedot debu gitu. Seperti tadi kita setelah petugas shelving melihat kriteria rusak ringan, ya kita ada diperbaiki ya. Perbaiki itu misalkan dilem, ganti call number. Nah, kalau buku-buku yang rusak berat kita disimpan dulu. Nah, kita mengajukan anggaran biasanya anggaran untuk penjilidan baru. Dan nah kalau tidak bisa kita juga melakukan namanya digitasi. Buku-buku yang agak sulit untuk dirawat kita digitasikan. Nah, nanti dibuat digitalnya gitu. Seperti itu gitu. Portable. Tapi kita sekarang udah menerapkan yang namanya koleksi out of date. Nah, jadi koleksi yang lama yang agak susah gitu, tapi masih bisa dipinjam ya.
Oh, so that's how the maintenance and care are done at the library? Curious. There's regular cleaning with a vacuum every 2 weeks, and there are also special steps for damaged books, etc. As far as Libby knows, the collections in this library are always up to date. What do you think, those of you who have visited? You'd agree with me, right? Now, let's go ahead and find out how the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Library refreshes its book collection.
Kita namanya stock oknum. Untuk oknum itu evaluasi koleksi. Jadi nanti akan dilihat datanya ke bagian layanan, koleksi mana atau golongan mana. Pertama melihat keterpakaian, yang kedua juga akan lihat jumlahnya. Jika kita punya datanya di situ, yang namanya evaluasinya di stok oknum. Itu sekalian itu evaluasi dan koreksi untuk buku gitu. Ada nanti situ. Pengadaan koleksinya biasanya dilakukan di akhir tahun. Udah menyusun. Nah, pengadaannya di awal tahun biasanya seperti itu. Itu rutinitas sebelum pandemik. Setelah pandemik, waktu pandemik itu tidak ada pengadaan koleksi. Nah, mungkin semua unit ya. Tidak ada pengadaan koleksi. Nah, setelah itu ada lagi kemarin di tahun 2023. Nah.
Sad, right? Curious? It turns out that after the pandemic, the procurement activities haven't been carried out regularly every year. Let's all hope that in the future, procurement can be done regularly again. We've talked a lot about the management of physical collections. Now let's find out how the digital collections are managed. Curious.
Pengolahan koleksi digital. Kita namanya ICT. teknologi dan informasi. Nah ini ada, Anda bisa melihat ini koleksi digital itu di sini banyak ragamnya. Bisa diakses melalui mana? Misalkan melalui untuk karya ilmiah, skripsi, tesis disertasi bisa melalui situsnya ataupun ini alamatnya repository.ibu.edu seperti itu.
Wow, we've gathered so much information from Mr. Hatta Hidayat Margana, but what about the challenges? Managing millions of collections must be really difficult. Let's ask him again.
Teknologi informasi sekarang gitu yang pasti. Seperti contoh bagaimana repositori itu dari awalnya kita tidak bisa dibaca seluruh, tetapi harus bisa dibaca, dan akses untuk MyLab ini juga kan ini akunnya itu harus langganan. Nah itu tantangannya. Jadi bagaimana nanti pustakawan itu bisa menciptakan sendiri akses supaya semua sivitas itu bisa membaca buku secara full text-nya. Kedua juga tantangannya kita mengembangkan saya di sini itu mengembangkan ini itu. Tantangan kita bisa bagaimana menciptakan supaya buku-buku yang bisa dipinjam itu menciptakan software sendiri, itu yang ada supaya tidak langganan. Ya, lumayan gitu ya langganan software itu ya. Standar nasional 500 mahasiswa itu 1 pustakawan untuk tugas. Nah, kalau UPI sekarang punya berapa mahasiswa UPI? 30.000. Artinya staf perpustakaan harus 60. Sekarang berapa? 25 orang di sini. Tetap aja sekarang tidak ada anggaran lah 2024 gitu ya. Bagaimana sedangkan pengembangan koleksi di akreditasi itu harus ada. Pertama kita juga lagi mengembangkan bagaimana data-data perpustakaan. Yang pasti kalau untuk OPEC kita udah diadaptasikan, bisa ditelusur ya melalui HP-HP. Kedua juga nanti sekarang udah mulai perpanjangan koleksi, ya itu kita lagi dikembangkan bisa melalui HP. Bagaimana sistem nanti supaya kalau perpanjang ada nggak perlu datang ke sini. Apa namanya? Ada paperless untuk skripsi atau disertasi. Nah kita harus adaptasi dengan apa? Dengan teknologi. Artinya bagaimana supaya pemustaka itu lancar aksesnya. Nah kita juga mengajukan banyak-banyakannya wifi, banyak-banyakannya sekarang stop kontak ataupun colokan-colokan seperti itu. Sekarang Perpustakaan Nasional membuka namanya OneSearch, Indonesia OneSearch. Kita harus teknologi beradaptasi ke sana, harus bergabung. Kalau Anda misalkan membuka Indonesia OneSearch, berarti semua repositori itu ada di situ deh. Semua perguruan tinggi di Indonesia itu harus bergabung ke situ. Alhamdulillah kita udah bergabung gitu. Artinya itu kan adaptasi ke situ. Dulu orang perlu data ke sini harus harus datang memfotokopi sendiri. Nah ini kita membuka sekarang ini ladang ceria, cetak kirim koleksi akademik. Jadi ada tinggal ini aja, isi formnya ada di sini. Cara pemesanan, nah ini nggak ada.
So those are the challenges. Earlier, we talked about surveys to assess user needs. But what about evaluation? How do they measure user satisfaction?
Ada namanya evaluasi tribulanan, ada evaluasi tengah tahunan.
Itu keseluruhan
ya.
ini.
Laporan tengah tahunan yang rutin ke pusat itu laporan tengah tahunan. Laporan tahunan itu pasti. Nah itu dievaluasi di situ. Ada laporan bulanan juga. Evaluasi bulanan kita ya untuk staf kita ya namanya RKB, rencana kegiatan bulanan. Kita evaluasinya di para divisi.
We've finished discussing how the collection management works in the library, both physical and digital collections. We've also explored the innovations applied by Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Library to adapt to the fast-paced information technology era. Now, let's talk about book borrowing. Borrowing books here is really easy curious. You simply choose the book you want to borrow, then register it like this. The borrowing is limited to 3 categories: students, lecturer, and staff. The loan period is for 2 weeks, and you can borrow up to 5 books. Also, there's a penalty system for late returns. The fine is 500 rupiah for 1 day, which aims to increase borrowers' awareness about the borrowing deadline. Now, let's return to Elsa and Eva Curious. Libby is thirsty, so I'll have a drink first. Hihi.
Wow, Libby, that was so informative. We've gathered such comprehensive information from Mr. Hada, and with Libby's help, we could get this all curious. What do you think, Elsa?
Libby, you're amazing. Eva, I couldn't stop listening to the information from Libby. The explanation from the speaker were also very clear and truthful, Eva.
We also talked about the library dedicated website for providing digital service. Curious, if you're curious, you can check it out. But Elsa, Libby mentioned wanting to grab a drink earlier. I wonder if she is done because I am still curious. Will Libby also help us gather insight from the library visitors? So far, we've only heard from the library management.
True, let's connect with Libby again. Curious?
Hello, I'm back.
Hey Libby, are you ready to join us again?
Ha ha ha, yes.
Great. So what's next, Libby? Are we going to find out what the visitors think?
Now I'm ready to continue exploring with you all. Yes, exactly. Now I'll connect you with some of the library visitors who have used the services managed by the library team. I've asked my friend to interview a few visitors there. Let's listen together.
Halo, jadi di sini aku lagi bersama narasumber kita yaitu Teh Hasna.
Aku Iqbal. Pal.
Kalau di tes berapa puas tuh ada 80% lah.
Sampai 10, 9.
Selanjutnya, apakah akan merasa layanan perpustakaan ini mendukung kebutuhan akademik?
Pengalaman akademik beberapa kali juga, alhamdulillah pernah nyari tugas juga dan nyari sumber juga itu dari buku-buku yang ada di perpus, dan ya alhamdulillah nemu gitu, meskipun beberapa kali juga itu bukunya harus nunggu dikembaliin juga sama orang yang minjem gitu.
Kalau kata aku membantu banget sih, soalnya dari buku gitu bisa mencari
Sumber informasi.
ya sumber informasi, teori.
Kemudian, apakah aspek layanan perpustakaan yang menurut Teteh ini perlu ditingkatin gitu?
Kalau sejauh ini sih belum ada, soalnya menurut aku ini udah oke banget.
Udah membantu
Ya,
gitu
sudah sangat
untuk
membantu.
mahasiswa mencari buku.
Ada satu mungkin kayak satu saran gitu kan, pas pengembalian itu kan bukunya nggak dicek ya.
Iya.
Nah aku tuh pernah minjem buku di mana kondisinya di dalam bukunya itu tuh digambar-gambarin, dicoret-coretin gitu kan, kayak nggak bagus juga kan.
Iya.
Minjem, nah itu mungkin bisa diketatin juga sistem yang di perpustakaan, pengecekan juga, biar apa kalau misalnya ada orang yang tangannya usil itu bisa didenda atau mungkin bisa di blacklist dari perpustakaan gitu.
Untuk proses pengembalian dan peminjamannya kalau menurut aku udah oke banget.
Oke nih. Nah, yang terakhir, jika perpustakaan ingin menambahkan layanan baru, apa jenis layanan yang menurut Akang ini paling bermanfaat bagi
Lebih ke layanan konsultasi sih, soalnya layanan konsultasi dari pihak mahasiswa sama perpustakaan ya, berarti ya itu mungkin lebih dibutuhkan. Kenapa? Mungkin banyak pengunjung juga ya yang mungkin kayak ngerasain kayak kendala-kendala yang kita dapatkan di perpus gitu. Misal contoh kayak contoh buku yang nggak ada, terus buku yang mungkin nggak sesuai sama yang ada di rak gitu. Misal kayak ini rak apa, bukunya kok ini gitu. Atau enggak kok buku A ditaruh di rak G gitu. Nah itu kan nggak sesuai ya, itu mungkin bisa lebih disesuaikan lagi. Soalnya meskipun emang banyak sesuainya, tapi ada beberapa kali nemu juga itu bukunya itu nggak sesuai sama yang ada di rak.
Jadi itu seputar pandangan dari para narasumber kita atas kepuasan layanan dan saran dan perbaikan yang diberikan oleh narasumber kita. Terima kasih.
That's the perspective from a student.
Wow, it's great to hear the few library visitors, but positive feedback and a few suggestions for improvement.
Exactly. This gives us a good feedback and allows us to compare how the library team manages the service with how visitors experience and benefit from the service.
Thank you, Libby. With your help, we've got such comprehensive and useful information. Now, we're no longer curious about how library services are managed behind the scenes, as well as the innovation implemented at UP Library.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy to help. Well, I'm done here for now. I'll say goodbye, but we can meet again soon for another interesting discussion. Bye-bye.
See you again, Libby.
Now, curious, we delved into how UP Library manages its collection, starting from the evaluation process to gather user needs for book procurement, the care and maintenance of collection, and their steps for handling damaged books. What else, Emma?
We also learned about the dedicated website for providing UP Library's digital collection, which you can check out at perpustakaan.up.edu. We also discussed innovation like OPEC and future plans for online renewal service, and as well as the library's evaluation.
We also heard diverse opinions from the library visitors who have used the service managed by the library team.
That's it. I think we can wrap up today's education, Elsa. We hope this episode provides valuable insight for careers.
Thank you for joining us on
Talk.
Don't forget to follow us for more interesting information about educational technology.
See you in the next episode.
Thank you, everyone! Thank you, Elmar! Boom!